against Rangers in the Champions League with Stephen Thompson and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks very much, Kenny. It's been a while, but Rangers are back in the big time. A first Champions League fixture since the 7th of December 2010 in Bursa. A 1-1 draw with Bursaspor as the beast from the east ravaged Scotland. Fast forward 12 tumultuous years, and what a place to make your return to European football's most prestigious stage, the magnificent Johan Cruyff Arena in Amsterdam. Packed to the rafters this evening ahead of this opening Group A fixture. We are just about ready to go. It's a balmy evening in the Dutch capital. It will be, looks like Rangers to kick us off. They're swapping ends. Rangers in their all blue outfit will kick us off. They're going from left to right as we look at it from the gods of the main stand here in the Johan Cruyff Arena, and Ajax in their traditional and famous red and white top with white shorts and white socks. We're all set for kick-off here as Rangers return to the Champions League and look to make their mark as they did last season in the Europa League, going all the way to the final. But this is different levels, and we will see very shortly how Rangers can adapt. We're underway, and immediately it's James Sands launching it long and over the head of Scott Wright and Calvin Bassey, and it's out for a throw-in down near the corner flag, which will be taken by the veteran Dutch defender Daley Blind, who will play at left back this evening for the Dutch. Down the left wing it goes. It's Connor Goldson winning the header, picked up by Tillman in the middle of the park, tries to step away from a couple of challenges, but he's robbed of possession, and forward come Ajax. Goldson nips in, tries to get the pass away to Sands. In the end has to go back to John McLaughlin, who launches it long in the direction of Ryan Kent. The noise is virtually deafening.
It's brilliant. The atmosphere is absolutely incredible, Alistair. Loving it.
Here's Calvin Bassey with his first touch against his former club, making him a lot of money, having come in from Leicester for just a nominal fee a couple of seasons ago under Steven Gerrard, and leaving for what could turn into over £20 million depending on some add-ons. Is back in the possession of Remco Pasveer, who is the goalkeeper for Ajax, and then played out to the edge of the penalty area to young Jurien Timber, who gets it to Bassey. Now left hand side, it's Blind for the impressive Bergwijn, who's scored 7 goals early in the season. Now it's Kenneth Taylor advancing down the left hand side. Back goes Kamara, holds him up for a moment, still Taylor, and he's trying to release Blind there on the left hand side. It's a poor pass, and it's straight out for a goal kick. 1.5 minutes on the clock in Amsterdam. It's Ajax 0, Rangers 0.
Yeah, it was a strange pass in the end there from Kenneth Taylor. It was as if he thought the pitch had about another 5 yards on it. Must have just got all his bearings wrong. But for Rangers, it's about trying to settle into this match. As I mentioned, the atmosphere is incredible. You've got to just try and make sure they take the tempo out of it for Ajax. Saw what happened at Celtic Park on Saturday. They want to just make sure that they find their way into this game.
It's a foul on Cholak, and he's taking a knock to the back of the head. It will be a free kick. It was the young defender Jurien Timber who climbed on the back of Cholak's shoulders and knocked him to the ground, and Rangers will have a free kick 10 yards inside their own half to be taken by Kamara. It is very warm still in Amsterdam. The roof is off the stadium. It was closed earlier in the day. Thankfully they've lifted it off. Goldson goes over the top looking for Kent. Timber with the header down. Tillman will pick up on the edge of the penalty, just inside the penalty area now. It's still Tillman. A couple of players around about him. Gets the ball back the way to Barisic on the left hand side. Midway now inside Ajax territory. It's Kent out on the left touchline, coming infield, trying to get away from Divine Wrench. Rangers recycle the ball and it's back with Goldson on the halfway line. Tavernier picks up on the right, tries to slip it through for Cholak, and it will go out of play for an Ajax throw-in. Scott Wright, the only change, Stephen, from the weekend. Are you surprised at all that he was the man to come in for Stephen Davis?
No, I'm not surprised that there were so few changes, and also not surprised that he comes into the side. I think out of possession when Ajax are forcing Rangers back, which inevitably they'll do at stages in the game, then Wright and Kent, because of their pace, give you that out ball, especially in the counter-attack. So that's going to be important for Rangers this evening.
James Sands has it, edge of his own penalty area, knocks it back to McLaughlin, just outside his 6-yard box. He'll be keen to rid himself of the memory of that fourth goal that went against Celtic when he gifted possession to David Turnbull as Rangers try to play out from the back. It's Ajax picking up midway inside the Rangers half. It's young striker Kudus, and now back with Berghuis, the experienced Dutch midfielder, played for Watford among others. He gets it back to Timber just inside his own half and onto the halfway line. It goes for Alvarez. Alvarez, the man who just keeps things ticking over for Ajax in the middle of the park. 4 minutes played, and Ajax come forward down the right hand side. It's picked up by Wrench. Ajax moving off the ball, looking to pick up the passes. It's Alvarez now midway inside the Rangers half, closed down by Kent. He goes back the way to Timber, back out to the right hand side, and it's on the left foot of Tadic. Swung, and it's a good ball. Tavernier meets it high up in the air, not properly cleared. Kamara can't force it forward. It's Bergwijn, and the referee signalled for a free kick to Rangers just inside his own penalty area as Bergwijn handled the ball as he tried to bring it under control.
He was unlucky, it just skipped up off the top of his boot and kind of caught him in the hand. Not intentional, but yeah, good build-up play from Ajax, switching it from side to side, putting a dangerous ball into the box that Rangers dealt with. But Ajax having the better in the opening 5 minutes.
Certainly dominating possession, as they so often do. And Bergwijn didn't really work out for him at Spurs.
No.
But he certainly made an impact, having come back to the Netherlands, as I mentioned, with 7 goals in his opening 6 games for them. Goldson takes a clatter there from Kudus. The 22-year-old striker, and Goldson stayed down on the halfway line, went in bravely for the header. The referee will just check that he's okay to continue without any treatment. Indeed he is. He's back on his feet. Just over 5 minutes on the clock in Amsterdam. Of course, the other 2 teams in this group, Napoli host Liverpool later in the evening. Goldson fires the free kick way out to Ryan Kent. Tried to just flick it between his legs, back the way. It didn't really come off, but Rangers trying to keep Ajax under pressure deep in their own half, but it's well played by Alvarez to find Timber, and he goes down the right flank for Tadic. Forward it goes, looking for McLaughlin, and it's an aimless ball, and McLaughlin easily picks up.
I don't know why Kent doesn't take his touch forward the park. I mean, the pass was absolutely exceptional. He was almost in behind the Ajax fullback. Just take your touch forward the way he tries to chop back and immediately gives the advantage to the Ajax defender.
Yeah, it was a curious decision. Čolak battling away with Bassi winning the ball from Čolak. Good physical battle, that one. Bassi coming out on top, and back it goes to Timber. Bassi once more, 15 yards inside his own half. Now Timber once more into the midfield for Taylor. Tempo not too high in the game so far, perhaps in part down to the warm conditions here.
Yeah, it's extremely humid. Virtually no breath of air inside the stadium, so yeah, you could probably blame it on that.
It's Ajax though in possession. Into the middle of the park from Berghuis, back to Timber as Ajax look to move Rangers about the park and create the opening. It's Bassi stepping forward onto the halfway line. Now back with Blint, who admitted in the news conference yesterday he would be prefer to be playing in the centre of defence, but Bassi's taken his place there, so he's settling for the left back spot. Forward come Ajax down the right hand side now, and it's picked up by Tadic, always looking to get it onto the left foot out on that right hand side. Vastly experienced player, made his 200th appearance at the weekend actually for Ajax. Forward they come once more. The flick between the legs of Berghuis doesn't come off, picked up by Kamara, and now Tillman, and back to Goldson just on the edge of his own penalty area, turns and knocks it back to McLaughlin, who clips out to the left hand side to Barisic. Forward for Tillman, he's closely tracked by Timber. Now it's out to Kent, who hits the deck, and it will just be a free kick, a throw-in over there on the far side. 2 Rangers just about 10 yards inside their own half. 8 minutes on the clock. Ajax 0, Rangers 0. Rangers just trying to settle into the game. Certainly don't want to be conceding early on and putting themselves under pressure as Čolak gets his head to the ball, but it's straight out of play And Cholak will have to do a better job than that of holding the ball up when he gets the opportunity.
Yeah, that was cheap. You know, when Ajax are having so much possession of the ball and you're doing all your work off the ball, when you do get it, you can take a breather with the ball. It's important, especially as him being the main striker, that when he does get it, that his linkage is of a high percentage. That was a cheap one to give away.
Here's Taylor on the left-hand side, and now linking with Bergwijn up against Tavernier. Bergwijn is like the flipped side of Tadic on the other side, in the sense that he always wants to cut in. This time on his right foot, scored a couple of crackers at the weekend. The second one in particular against Cambuur in the 4-0 win. Here he is once more on the right foot, slips it for Taylor. He's onside, left channel, and the cross comes off Kamara. And behind for Ajax's first corner of the evening, left-hand side, and an opportunity for the home side to try and threaten John McLaughlin's goal.
Well worked it was from Ajax down this left-hand side. Bergwijn and eventually Taylor trying to get the cross in. Rangers probably not too happy with the fact that nobody went with Taylor's run, but first corner of the match goes to Ajax.
Bergwijn over it, just plays it short for Tadic. Left-footed ball, and it's a free header in there for Timber, and he should have done better inside the 6-yard box. A real opportunity there for the central defender, and he managed only to head high over John McLaughlin's goal. First big chance of the match goes Ajax's way. 10 minutes in though, and it's goalless.
Yeah, I mean, you think back to the PSV game at Ibrox and the 2 goals that Rangers conceded from set plays with nobody picking up in the middle of the 6-yard box. Again there, alright, it wasn't a completely free header, but it was free enough, and he actually should have done much better. Timber, the ball in was decent. He found himself in probably a yard of space from any of the Rangers defenders, and he headers it over the bar. That's a let-off for Rangers.
It certainly was. 10 on the clock. Rangers have a throw-in. Rangers have never beaten Ajax in the 4 meetings between the sides. Most recently was in the Champions League back in '96, a double-header in October. It was 1-0 to the Dutch at Ibrox, but a 4-1 defeat here in Amsterdam. Not helped by Paul Gascoigne being sent off in the opening half hour, it has to be said. As Ajax get a free kick quickly taken, and it's back to Timber and Blint. Ajax continuing to control possession. Back with Bassi, who'll be looking to make an impact, and he would do everything he possibly could to Ajax victory as much as he loved his time at Rangers. Ajax come forward down the right-hand side. Tadic exchanging passes with Wrench across goal, away by Golson. Good clearance picked up by Timber, who's venturing forward an awful lot. Here's Bassi now, midway inside the Rangers half, out to Blind on the left-hand side, and now Bergwijn away from Tavernier, finds room for the shot but drags it wide of McLaughlin's right-hand post. Ajax having all the pressure, but 11.5 minutes in, it's still Ajax 0, Rangers 0.
Yeah, it was a really good play again from Ajax down the right-hand side. The cross gets flashed right across the 6-yard box. No Ajax players had gambled to go into that area. It was cleared, and when it comes back out to the opposite side to Bergwijn, and the form he's in, he'll be disappointed with his effort and goal. He made space for himself on his right foot. He thought he was going to go open up and go to John McLaughlin's left-hand side. He really snatched at it and dragged it past this near-hand post. But yeah, you're right, Ajax in control of the game, and Rangers really struggling to threaten or do anything past the halfway line.
Yeah, they've barely been inside Ajax's half. They're there right now as Cholak nudges it to Tillman, who tries to poke it out to Kent, but it was read by Wrench, and it's picked up by Alvarez and knocked back to his goalkeeper just outside his 6-yard box. Launches up towards Tadic on the halfway line. Barisic with a good boot in there, picked up by Wright midway inside Ajax's half, but he's overrun it, has Scott Wright, and then he falls as he tries to chase down Alvarez, and Ajax easily play their way out of a semi-dangerous situation, and it's picked up by Blind on the left-hand side. 12, almost 13 played, still goalless. You're listening to Sports Sound on the Sounds app. We're on BBC Radio Scotland Extra, and also on 810 medium wave and online. Here's Timber on the halfway line, feeds it forwards for Kudus, who's come deep. Back to Timber, came on and scored at the weekend, did Kudus, which has perhaps earned him the starting spot as he spreads play out to Wrench on the far side. Poor touch from him, but he gets lucky and it falls for Berghuis, and now it's Tadic on the right hand side attacking Barisic, who gets a block in, and it will be another Ajax corner, this time on the right-hand side. And you do feel, Stephen, if it continues this way, it's only a matter of time before Ajax get in front.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're certainly putting Rangers under a lot of pressure. They'll have to deal with this corner a lot better than they did the last one. Tadic is looking especially dangerous down that right-hand side.
And it will be he to take the corner kick from the right-hand side, left-footed in-swinger. It's driven into the near post and touched back, but Scott Wright's in the way. Fortunately for Rangers, they'd obviously been aware of the training ground move that was coming there.
I don't know why Kent turns out there. I mean, they're on the counter-attack. Sorry, there's that.
Yeah, quickly taken throw-in by Ajax. Rangers were unpicked by quickly taken throw-ins and set pieces by Celtic on the weekend, and Giovanni Van Bronckhorst won't want that to happen again, but here they come forward. Ajax is knocked away out of the penalty area by Barisic. Čolak is deep, but he's done well to feed it to Tillman, and Tillman now crosses the halfway line. He's only got Kent in support. He's fouled by Alvarez, but he's still going, Tillman, up towards the edge of the penalty area. Still no real support. Now it comes to Čolak. He goes for goal. It comes off Timber. It'll break for Kamara inside the penalty area. Out to the left-hand side, though. Challenged out there by Wrench. Back to Barisic. Crossing opportunity. He doesn't take it. Plays it short instead to Kamara. There's two...
I don't know why he doesn't put it in, Alistair. I really don't. He's in a really good area. There's bodies in the box. Just throw it in. It's his best weapon, is his ability from crossing from wide areas. He tries to pop it into Kamara. It was a dreadful pass to him. To go back to the Kent one, Kent's in the team because of his pace, and to try and, when Rangers are trying to soak up all this pressure they're under, he's in there for the counter-attack. The ball gets played to him. He's got the whole pitch in front of him, and he turns back. I really don't understand it.
Passing out to Bergwijn, quarter of an hour gone in Amsterdam, goalless in this one. The other game going on at this time is Eintracht Frankfurt, Rangers conquerors in the Europa League final against Sporting Club, and no goals in that one as far as I know either, as Blint and Taylor combined down the left hand side. Good challenge by Tavernier, and it breaks for Bergwijn on the halfway line. Turns away from Čolak and Tillman. Good skill by the nippy winger. Back to Alvarez, and now square for Wrench on the halfway line. Ajax manoeuvring the ball well. It's out to Wrench on the right hand side, and now Tadic back in field for Timber. Timber square for Alvarez. Alvarez midway inside the Rangers half, central area, gets it to Blind on the left hand side. Back in field it goes to, it was aimed at Bassi, but he couldn't get there, but Timber picks up for Ajax. Now Tadic in field for Kudus. Kudus out to the right hand side. That's a lovely ball for Tadic. Berghuis makes the run, tries to play the early ball. It's read by Sands, and behind for yet another Ajax corner.
Very similar to the last break as well, Alistair, down that right hand side. Tadic again involved, slipping in the overlap, and again Ajax not finding that final pass, that last bit of detail that would hurt Rangers.
Corner kick right hand side to be taken by the left foot of the Serbian Tadic. This one's swung, and it's a good ball. It's a goal! And Alvarez was passing up that opportunity. Rangers start the inquest, and Ajax celebrates the opening goal in the Champions League Group A. It's Ajax 1, Rangers 0.
Well, it's no more than they deserve, Alistair. After the start they've made, 16 minutes in, they've been by far the superior team. But from a Rangers point of view, yes, they can be cut open from open play, from set plays. It's unforgivable to yet again lose a goal in European competition from a corner kick with somebody either being unmarked or not picked up properly in the middle of the 6-yard box. I mean, it really is. Alvarez just strolls onto it and puts it in the bottom corner with no real attempt from any Rangers player to either put him off, to challenge against him. Really, really disappointing for Rangers, especially when you look back to the PSV game and you say it was highlighted. Poor Giovanni Van Bronckhorst spoke about it after the game. It's clearly not been addressed.
The Mexican scores his first goal of the season. He won't score too many easier, as Alfred Schroeder, the Ajax manager, celebrates his side, taking the initiative here in the Johan Cruyff Arena. And Edson Alvarez with the opening goal. And I did say 5 minutes or so ago, looked on the cards, and so it proved, unfortunately for Rangers. And they have a lot of work to do to get back into this game. It doesn't look on the cards just at the moment. Plenty of time to go though, 18 minutes in. The Rangers do trail by 1-0, and they haven't really been at the races thus far. It's Jurriën Timber picking up for Ajax back to Bassi. Timber once more on the halfway line. Forward he comes. Daley Blind on the left-hand side. Good footwork again, but then Blind overruns it, knocks it out for a throw-in. I don't know if you saw in any of the reruns, Tomo, who's supposed to be picking up Alvarez. There's a clutch of Rangers players round about him, but just no one tracking the run.
I think we discussed previously that they've been marking zonally. Neil McCann talked about it in depth after the PSV game, so I would imagine it would be very similar to that without a man marker. He drifts in between a couple of the zonal players, and again, nobody picking him up. An easy header. Delivery, of course, is exceptional, but they have to do more, Rangers, to stop the free header.
Yeah, they've given themselves a lot of work to do. Rangers with their poor start here, and behind inside 18 minutes. It's picked up by Taylor as Ajax look to increase their advantage. Out to the right hand side it goes to Wrench, and now Tadic, who it has been written that he started the season slowly, but he started this game pretty well.
Certainly has.
Holds off Ryan Kent and gets the ball back to Berghuis. Comfortable possession for Ajax as it's knocked down the right hand side. Berghuis will catch that from Tadic. Decent challenge from Barisic to hold him up. Still Ajax have it though, just outside the penalty area. It's good skill from Tadic to hold on to possession, then he's lost it to Barisic, and forward comes Kent, who's taken out of play. That's a poor challenge, that one, from the goal scorer Alvarez. The referee contents himself with a passing word. It will be a free kick to Rangers. 20 on the clock. Ajax 1, Rangers 0.
I think he was lucky not to see a yellow there, to be honest with you. Alvarez stopping the counter-attack. At least that time Kent did commit and take a player on. He was past Alvarez and driving forward, albeit in his own half. A very cynical challenge.
It's back with McLaughlin. Knocks up to the halfway line. Easily nodded down though by Bergwijn. Picked up by Blint. Now it's Kudus. Holds up possession until support arrives. Back with Alvarez. The possession starts already heavily in Ajax's favour. Good skill by Kudus on the edge of the penalty area, trying to get away from Sands. Gets out to Tadic on the right hand side, slipped in, and a good save by McLaughlin. It was Berghuis who got the shot in from a tight angle on the right hand side as he came forward, and McLaughlin had to look lively to push that behind for another corner.
Exceptional play from Ajax, it really is. Intricate passing. I can't believe that actually Berghuis went for the shot, because if he plays it square across the 6-yard box, it's basically a tap-in for Kudus.
Tadic with the corner kick, a bit deeper than the previous one that brought about a goal, headed away by Tillman. I think it was actually Wrench who had that final shot.
Was it Wrench? Sorry.
McLaughlin turned round the post. No, my mistake in the first place. But McLaughlin equal to it. Rangers trail by a goal to 0. Ajax have a throw-in in this near side, the Dutch left. And it has been all Ajax in these opening exchanges, as Lundstrom, who we barely mentioned, steps in and picks up possession midway inside his own half, just slips out to the left hand side for Barisic. Kent challenged out for a throw-in on the far side. Can Rangers do anything to change the way the game's going so far, Stephen?
Well, they're really struggling to cope with the movement of Ajax. They can't get a grip of the game, they can't keep the ball, and when they do eventually have the ball, then they're giving it away too easily. There's another example of it here. James Sands trying about a 70-yard diagonal pass. In fact, Scott Wright's offside and the ball goes back to Ajax. It's difficult to play against a team who are so good off the ball and their possession is so good, and you've got to try and remain compact, but when you do get the ball back, you have to offer something with it, and so far Rangers haven't.
No, Massey has it for Ajax. Plays it to Timber, who clearly likes to get forward from centre back. Massey wasn't averse to that himself, certainly when he was at Rangers. As Berghuis picks up possession, knocks it in the left hand side, crossing opportunity for plenty, picks out Bergwijn inside the area, plays it short, tries to get the 1-2 from Tadic, and it's just overhit from Tadic, and that allows McLaughlin to dive on it at the edge of his 6-yard box. Ajax threatening again midway through the first period. It's Ajax 1, Rangers 0.
I can't believe Bergwijn didn't have a pop-it goal. I mean, the pass into him sublime. He takes his touch, it opens up for him. He goes for a very tight 1-2 and doesn't get the return of the 1-2. But I mean, it's another example there of Rangers just gifting possession back. Yes, they won it. Scott Wright takes another heavy touch. He's had 2 or 3 of those in the match so far, and then Ajax are back on the ball.
Not for long, Tavernier has it, clips it out to the left-hand side, looking for Kent. Hugging the left touchline just for the moment, up against Wrench. On the overlap goes Barisic. Opportunity now for Barisic, gets to the goal line. Can he pick out a teammate? Right in there, he couldn't reach. Kamara though knocks it back to Tavernier, edge of the penalty area, clips it to the back post. Barisic will be offside, there's no way he can go for this. He eventually does, and the flag goes up. And a wasted opportunity for Rangers. Half a chance there, and Barisic hit the byline.
That was Rangers' best attack of the match, without doubt. Alistair, it was good play out on the left-hand side. Kent to Barisic, and the player that was marking Barisic was at Wrench, fell to the ground, giving him a free cross into the box. As it came in, it just went over Cholak's head, and then Kamara couldn't quite reach it. Rangers possibly unlucky that it didn't fall for one of their players, and then obviously Kent trying to lay it back to Tavernier, but he couldn't lay it back in a way that would allow him to hit it first time. And when the ball was recycled back in, Barisic was obviously offside. So, you know, far more positive for Rangers. At least they've breached the final third of Ajax and got a good cross into a penetrative area, but nothing came of it.
4 times European champions, Ajax. They have quite a glittering history. That real high point of the early 70s, inspired by Johan Cruyff, who this stadium is named after now. And most recently winning it in '95. Here they come down the left-hand side. It's Blint for Kudus. Infield it goes to Bergwijn. Up towards the edge of the penalty, and back for Kudus. Left-hand side, chips it to the back post. Tadic nails it back into the area. Lundstrom's there to clear. Up as far as Kent. Kent takes a touch, tries to knock it back to Barisic. He's given away possession very cheaply, and Rangers really have to do better when they get the ball in these situations.
Tadic should have taken a touch there. It was a fabulous ball to the back post for him. He was in acres of space, and he tried to play it first time back into the danger area. He had time to take a touch and get a shot off on his left foot, just rushed it a bit, but again the build-up play excellent. Again Rangers, when they win the ball back, giving it straight back to Ajax. Waves of attack for Ajax.
Here's Wrench out to Tadic on the right-hand side, wearing the skipper's armband onto the left boot, and plays the reverse ball. Wrench inside the penalty. Can he pick it out? A teammate can't, it's blocked, but it still might come. There's Berghuis inside the area, trying to swivel away from Lundstrom to get a shot away. Lundstrom sticks with him. Onto the left foot goes Berghuis, gets a cross goal, headed away by Tavernier. Up to Cholak, can he try and hold on to possession? Comes to Tillman, Bassey's with him though. Bassey's won it from Tillman. And out to Berghuis it goes on the right-hand side of the penalty, just on the angle. Bassey once more, still in an advanced position. Back the way he comes to Wrench. The total football ethos allows Ajax to put players into positions they don't necessarily naturally occupy.
Yeah, well, I mean, one player leaves, another player fills in. Alvarez spotted that Calvin Bassey had ventured forward. He just dropped in at centre half. It's very fluid.
Just Blint into Bergwijn, tracked by Tillman. Blint once more picks up, back the way he goes. Onto the halfway line for Timber. Plays it square for Bassey, just inside his own half. Shot ball to Taylor, and then the triangle completed with the ball back to Timber, then out to Blint, and Bergwijn picks up. Passing is crisp and neat and good from Ajax. The same can be said for Rangers, who've barely seen the ball as the ball is switched out to the right-hand side. As Ajax come forward yet again, poked in to Taylor. Taylor inside the penalty area. Big chance for Wrench. He should really do better. It's all the way across goal. I think he was caught in two minds as to whether to go for goal or try and pick out Kudus at the back post. In the end, he did neither. Another huge let-off for Rangers, though.
He looked offside, I have to say. I don't know whether or not the linesman gave it, Alistair. He might have given offside there, but it's almost like they're trying to walk the ball into the net at times. It's incredible, you know, the amount of passes they're making in Rangers' 18-yard box, when really they probably should be trying to get shots off. But yeah, fabulous play again. Rangers yet again let off the hook. You feel as though the second goal, you know, is inevitable at this stage because of the quality that Ajax are playing with, and the amount of chances that they're creating, but they are being a wee bit overplaying possibly at times.
Thankfully for Rangers, you would have to say. Otherwise, the scoreline could look even more ominous than just the one goal by which Rangers trail at the moment. 28 minutes gone in Amsterdam. Thrown over on the far side goes Rangers' way.
He gave the foul for
infringement on Tillman.
Yeah.
In the end, and Rangers take the free kick. They need to up their game. Here's Lundstrom on the edge of his penalty area, out to the right-hand side for Tavernier. Midway inside his own half, plays a short ball from Kamara and gets it back, and then Tavernier slightly too short with the pass. That's a really good challenge by Kudus. It's come for Tadic, tries to slip in. Berghuis was a brilliant interception by James Sands, really dug his team out of a hole there. It was a short pass from Tavernier, but it should have been an easy one for Lundstrom, and it was superb defensive play in the end from Sands.
Yeah, he did well. I mean, you heard the crowd going crazy at Dusan Tadic, because in that situation I thought he could have got a shot off. He was on his favoured left foot, tries to slip it in. It was probably the right option at the time that he did it, but he had more margin for error than he gave himself, and it allowed Sands to be able to get a challenge in. And again, you know, that one was by Rangers' own making. A pure pass in from Tavernier. Lundstrom at full stretch couldn't get to it. They don't want to be giving themselves their own problems on top of the problems that Ajax are already causing them.
Here come Ajax once more, right hand side. Timber again stepping forward from the back, then played out to the right for Tadic by Berghuis. Back with Berghuis just inside the Rangers half, tries to fire a left-footed ball onto the boot of Bergwijn, which he does successfully. It's Bergwijn cutting in from the left hand side, Tavernier with him. Now it's Taylor about 30 yards from goal, comes out to the left to Blint. Short ball played and looking for the return to Blint. Doesn't quite come off, well read by Rangers, and Tillman picks up, tries to play his way out of danger there. Kamara is being hounded. Referee allows play to continue. Ajax have it back as Blint picks out Tadic on the edge of the penalty area. Onto the right foot this time, blocked away by Barisic. Rangers survive again. Half an hour in, Ajax 1, Rangers 0.
Tadic does shoot this time, not on his favoured left. He chops onto his right and tries to get a shot away. The crowd told him he shoot that time. Because he's, as I said, he's been trying to walk the ball into the net, and he was told in no uncertain terms from the supporters round about us that he was to have a shot that time.
Good defending on that occasion by Rangers, but they've had to defend pretty much from the off here. Half an hour gone now in Amsterdam. It's a one-goal advantage for the hosts. Here's Timber out to the right-hand side. It seemed to have so much room. Virtually every single player Tadic picks up to the edge of the penalty area he comes. He's going to be allowed room to cross this, and it's a poor cross by his standards and straight out of play. He was aiming for Kudus, but Barisic surely needs to close him down a lot sharper than that. Yeah,
he does. I mean, it's been a problem. They've had an overload in wide areas, and what's happening as well is Bergwijn's coming in the pitch, and Tavernier doesn't know whether to step in with them or not. On the opposite side, it's Tadic and Wrench down that right hand side that are causing all sorts of problems for Rangers. They're not getting close enough to block the crosses, but more often than not, Ajax aren't actually putting crosses in. They're trying to build it and look for that tidy pass.
Here's Berghuis, edge of the penalty on the left foot, tries to squeeze it, taking a deflection, and Ajax have got a second, and Berghuis takes the acclaim of the fans on the far side as McLaughlin was wrong-footed by the deflection, and Ajax deservedly have a second goal on the night. They have been utterly dominant so far. It's Ajax 2, Rangers 0.
Yeah, I always said it was inevitable almost that the second goal would come. 31 minutes and it's arrived, and it's no more, you have to say, than Ajax deserve. Again, decent build-up play from them, possibly a wee bit lucky with the pass that eventually put in Berghuis, but then a huge slice of fortune when he hits his shot. I think it is just James Sands that it comes off his toe, which completely wrong foots John McLaughlin in the goal. A slice of fortune, but they've earned that fortune with how they've played Ajax. They could have scored on a number of other occasions. It's a long way back now for Rangers.
The thing is, this 2-0 scoreline doesn't remotely flatter them.
No, it doesn't, Alistair. It doesn't. They've been far superior, dominant in every department in terms of their possession, in terms of how quickly they move the ball. Rangers really disappointing because I don't think that they're showing what they can do in terms of when they have the ball with their own possession. The amount of times they've given the ball away, they don't look confident enough to go and pop it into midfield and try and build the game. Quite often they're going long, it's coming straight back down their throats, and really it's been a desperately poor first half an hour from Rangers.
Looking at this pre-match, we're looking at the league table in the Netherlands last season as Kudus comes forward into the penalty area once more. Shooting opportunity, what a goal from Mohamed Kudus! That is how to finish, and Rangers are being run ragged in Amsterdam. Kudus makes it 3 within minutes Rangers conceding the second. And it's at risk of another humiliation after the 4-0 drubbing of the weekend. Rangers are already 3 behind. Ajax 3, Rangers 0.
It's an absolutely exceptional finish. It really is from Mohamed Kudus. I mean, from James Tavernier's point of view, the defending is not good enough. He's faced up 1v1 with Kudus. He doesn't do enough to stop him. He doesn't do enough to engage him. He gets turned, and as Kudus goes into the box, almost Tavernier lets him go, and the finish on the angle is extraordinary into that top corner. But for me, Tavernier has to do so much more in terms of defending and stopping the easy turn from Kudus, and then when he drives, it's almost like he just shrugs Tavernier off.
In off the upright as McLaughlin dived despairingly away to his left-hand side, but he was not stopping that one. The young Ghanaian with a second goal of the season. Fabulous left-footed finish from the left-hand side of the penalty area, and Rangers are rocking here. And they really have to steady the ship here until half-time, or else they could really be facing heavy defeat, which is already on the cards. I was just going to make the point, Thomas, before Kudus so rudely interrupted me by scoring that fabulous goal, that we kind of thought beforehand that maybe Ajax and PSV, there wasn't too much in terms of the difference in quality, given the 2-point lead by which Ajax won the league last season. PSV beat them in the Super Cup at the start of the season. It looks to me, though, Ajax are another level again.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is the Champions League, isn't it? You're not going to get any easy games, and Rangers are finding that out very quickly. This is a step up from the Europa League, where they've done so incredibly well in the last couple of seasons. But yeah, this Ajax team are just ripping Rangers to shreds. They have absolutely no answers for the movement of the Ajax players off the ball. There's another mistake from Rangers giveaway. Almost.
Well, they have given it away. Lundstrom's given it up to Taylor. It's Bergwijn. Tries to slip it. Tavernier steps in on the right-hand side of the penalty area and will manage to just chip it down the line. But Rangers basically haven't turned up so far in Amsterdam. They have been outclassed, you'd have to say, by Alfred Schroeder's side, who may well have lost Anthony. They may have lost Lisandro Martinez, Ryan Gravenberg. You can go through a list.
It's pretty frightening to think what they would be like if they still had their key players that they've sold for.
They're just so good at replacing these talents that they sell, aren't they?
They are. I mean, it's a phenomenal club, an absolutely massive club with a huge European history. And yeah, you heard Tom talking about it before the match, the amount of money that they've made over the last however many years. But their academy continues to produce tremendous players as well. It's an absolute machine of a club.
Certainly is a machine of a team tonight that is steamrolling their visitors and the Rangers fans, 2,700 of them or so, who have made the trip across in the far corner away to our left. Will be sitting watching this between their fingers because they are being dismantled. There's Sands, 37 minutes almost played. Ajax 3, Rangers 0. Sands has it midway inside his own half. Čolak. Sands once more. Plays it forward, looking for Ryan Kent. Up against Renge. Renge gets his head to it. Kent, though, will pick up left-hand side. Good challenge out there by
Alvarez. Yeah, a very good challenge. Very aggressive in the tackle, Alvarez.
Yeah, just mopping up any small threats of danger that Rangers might offer in that holding midfield role. Sees the game well. He was certainly attracting big interest from Chelsea in the transfer window, but Ajax held firm and wouldn't sell him, much to, I think it's been reported that he wasn't wholly happy about that, but he certainly played his part tonight with the opening goal and a good performance as Goldson steps forward, plays it forward looking for Wright, but Bassey matches him for pace, tries to see it out of play. Wright battling away, trying to keep it in.
There's only one man in that, and Calvin Bassey trying to just usher the ball out, as you so often see defenders doing at the byline. Wright was nibbling away at him, but he was not getting round Calvin Bassey's frame there.
He's been decent, Bassey, hasn't he?
In tonight's match, he's not had much to do, Alistair. No. I mean, I think of his performances for Rangers, and when he played in the left back, driving forward, such a powerful runner. And in games in European football last season when he was under pressure, but he was using his pace and his power to get Rangers out of problems at times. Tonight, I mean, he could have been playing with slippers on.
Still Eintracht Frankfurt 0, Sporting 0 in the other game. There's the early kick-off. Plenty more action to come over the course of the evening, including, as I mentioned, Napoli against Liverpool, the other match in Group A. And if Mark Haley thought this was going to be the easiest away trip, I dread to think what the other two are going to be like. Forward come Ajax down the right-hand side. It's Tadic, midway inside the Rangers half, looking to inflict more damage on Rangers before half-time. It's absolutely imperative they don't concede again. Here's Tadic still on the right-hand side, picks out Timber inside the penalty area, back heel for himself on the right flank, chips up towards the back post. Kamara with a header away. Ajax cutting through Rangers almost at will, it seems. Rangers simply have no answers to the Dutch masters so far. Here's Bergwijn. Infield he comes, looking to get away from right. Blind picks up, midway inside the Rangers half, back to Bassi. They will just go from left to right and try and find an opening. It's Alvarez out to the right hand side to Tadic. Tadic up against Barisic. What will he do this time? Dips the shoulder in the step over. Back he goes to Alvarez. Absolutely no rush for Ajax at this stage, with a commanding advantage they've opened up with 5 minutes to go before the interval here in Amsterdam. Bassi just inside the Rangers half. Čolak's not had a look in this game. He's trying to close down Alvarez for the moment. Out it goes though to Berghuis. Berghuis chips it forward for Wrench. Wrench up to the edge of the penalty area, knocks it back to Taylor. Left footed shot, McLaughlin parries. Tadic picks up, back into the 6-yard box. Tavernier will watch that all the way and then just knocks it out of play. And yet another save that John McLaughlin's had to make, and he's already conceded 3 goals.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good strike down to John McLaughlin's left hand side. He gets down well, and I thought for a second he palmed it right out to Tadic, but it was just wide enough that Tadic couldn't get a shot off and tried to pop it back into the box.
You couldn't fault John McLaughlin, I don't think, for any of the 3 goals that have gone in tonight.
No, you couldn't. A deflection, an absolute worldie, and
poor
really
marking
from Zono marking at a corner. And you know, maybe they've not been punished from Zono marking in the Scottish Premiership, but that's the 3rd goal this season already in Europe. It might even be the 4th. I don't know, that they've not conceded from Zono marking. So I would suggest that needs addressed.
Čolak trying to link with Scott Wright, but as has happened so often, possession is just coughed up to Ajax, and they build yet another attack down the right hand side. Alvarez looking to link with Wrench, but Ryan Kent gets in the way. Up to Čolak from Kamara, now right, but he's looking for Kent to run in behind. Kent had checked out the run, and it's tamely through as far as Rangers are concerned to Remco Pasveer, who has been little more than a spectator in the opening 41.5 minutes as he's watched his side build up a 3-goal lead. Alvarez, Berghuis and Kudus with the pick of the bunch so far, as Ajax have dominated from start to this point, as they go back with Alvarez to the keeper once more. Long from Pasveer, headed down by Sands, picked up by the talented Kudus. Away from Sands he comes, keeps possession, plays it square for Bassi, who's invited forward. Out to the left hand side now for Berghuis, and then nudges it on for Blint, back with Bassi, who's stayed up. Berghuis once more, infield to Taylor. So much room once again for the Ajax players, who just look to manoeuvre themselves into little pockets of space. Bassi picks up once more, left hand side, comes back infield to Alvarez, who's the deepest Ajax outfield player right now. Steps forward, looks to link with Tadic. Barisic gets a decent challenge in, knocks it over the halfway line. But again, possession going immediately back to Ajax. I know Tom English likes his various stats, and one that I'm sure he'll be looking at already for the half-time will be the possession that Ajax have enjoyed.
I imagine he'll be a field day at half-time with the stats from this one. I actually think passes completed for Rangers would be an interesting one.
Yeah, not too many, I would suggest. Lucky if they're in double figures. Ajax still have it. It's Blind on the left-hand side. Now Taylor. Bassey on the overlap if he chooses him. He goes infield instead. Bergwijn trying to slip it. It comes to Tadic. Edge of the box. McLaughlin saves once more. Pushes it out to the right-hand side. It's 3-0, but it could be 5 or 6.
It could be, easily, Alistair. And this time Tadic getting a shot off from the edge of the box. It's a save that you would expect John McLaughlin to make. Right at him. And he does well to push it clear now for a throw-in. I think Rangers, it's all about just getting in at half-time here, and they're going to need to change something. I'm not quite sure what it is that they will change, but this is not working. That's for sure.
No, it's an understatement. Here's Alvarez. Slips it forward for Kudus. Back to Berghuis. Alvarez once more. Ajax won all 6 of their Champions League group matches for the first time last season, but eventually eliminated, a little surprisingly for me, by Benfica. As Tadic, one of the stalwarts of that campaign, picks up once more and then knocks it out to the right-hand side. Forward come Ajax again. Tillman looking to hold them up. Barely mentioned him either, but you could say that about more or less every Rangers player apart from maybe John McLaughlin, who was mentioned once or twice because of stops he's had to make. Here's Taylor, right-hand side. Forward come Ajax, looking for a 4th goal before the interval, which is about 30 seconds plus injury time away. Another corner on the right-hand side for Ajax, and an opportunity to threaten John McLaughlin once more before half-time. 11 attempts on goal Ajax have had in this opening period. Rangers just 1, as Tadic prepares to take left-footed from the right-hand side. This is where the first goal came from. Rangers cannot possibly concede a 4th before half-time. McLaughlin comes to the edge of the 6-yard box, takes that one well at the second attempt under a fair bit of pressure, and it remains on the stroke of 45. Ajax 3, Rangers 0.
Good goalkeeping from John McLaughlin, coming out into a cluster of bodies and clutching the ball. Yeah, he didn't get it first time, he soaks it up the second time, and that's what your defenders love to see. It's when your goalkeeper comes out and commands like that.
We're into 1 minute of stoppage time at the end of this first half. Mercifully for Rangers, not too much time added on, and it will give Giovanni van Bronckhorst the chance to try and address the various issues facing his side at half-time. It will take more than a little bit of tinkering to solve them, as Lundstrom knocks it forwards for Kent. Kent just inside the Ajax half, spins, swivels, and then knocks it back to Barisic. It has been a real lesson in a return to the top stage of European football for Rangers in the opening 45. A harsh one at that, and Ajax have been really impeccable with their passing. Maybe not with their finishing, actually. We could have had at least a couple more as the German referee brings proceedings to a close. And I can tell you the stats have flashed up on the screen just to save Tom the bother. I'm sure we'll go into more of it, but 70% possession for Ajax, and that tells only a part of the story, because they have been superb. Rangers have been poor again, as they were at Celtic Park on Saturday, and the resistance in Amsterdam lasted only 17 minutes before Tadic from the corner kick on the right-hand side curled one in right onto the head of the Mexican Edson Alvarez to head unchallenged past John McLaughlin for the opening goal. There were shots saved and off target as Wrench had efforts. Timber headed over, but then just after the half-hour mark, Berghuis, with the aid of a James Sands deflection, has to be said, doubled the advantage from inside the penalty area. McLaughlin wrong-footed, and that was 2-0. But just a couple of minutes after that, on 34 minutes, the Ghanaian striker Mohamed Kudus burst forward on the left channel for Ajax into the penalty area, and from an angle he fired it in off the far post to make it Ajax 3, Rangers 0 at half-time.
Rangers in the Champions League.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
Yeah, we've been sitting in this studio, Mark Haitley, in absolute disbelief at how just how bad Rangers have been tonight. They've just not been in this game.
Oh, and how easy it's been for it.
Yeah.
You know, it's an incredible, painful watch, actually. Zonal marking, that's what we've been talking about, zonal marking for corners. You've got to take responsibility at corners. You've got to get your best header of the ball to go and attack the ball and head it and be aggressive. I've seen none of that whatsoever. Zonal marking, I think you need to go straight to man. As a zonal marker going into play in that formation, if I'm in there, I just go and stand myself on the weakest header of the.
As a striker, you love it.
Yeah, I loved it. Absolutely love it. Because you just go and put yourself on the weakest header of the ball in his zone, right, and tell everybody to just keep dropping the ball on my head. And that's zonal marking. See when it's becomes man-to-man marking in the box. It becomes personal. So it's a battle against the right. You're never going to get the best of me. I'm not seeing any of that tonight.
What about Čolak? What are you seeing from him? He's offered nothing, has he?
Oh, I know you keep saying this, but he has to be an out for Rangers, right? They're getting the ball on the edge of the box. They're getting the ball straight back. Ajax are getting the ball straight back. Čolak has to be an option. He has to make himself available for a ball when your team is under pressure to be pinning your defender, coming off at an angle and getting a real little diagonal ball so you can hold the ball up, you can play with the ball, get yourself a free kick and get your team up the park and take some pressure off. 45 minutes, it's been relentless. 70% of the ball, relentless. That's what your number 9 has to do when you're playing away from home, especially when you're playing with the one central striker. He has to be an option and has to make himself available.
Well, just looking at the updated stats on the BBC website, 76% possession, 11 shots to 1, 6 shots on target for Ajax, of course 3 goals, 0 shots on target for Rangers. Tom English not even forced a corner.
No, they've been lamentable. They're dead loss. It's men against mannequins. There's obviously a clear gulf in ability between the two teams, but there's a clear gulf in physicality as well. Ajax are just brushing Rangers off the ball. There's 0 aggression coming from Rangers, 0 organisation. Ajax are just passing through them. The amount of time they have on the ball is incredible. If I was a Rangers player, I'd be embarrassed. I'd be mortified by that performance. Yeah. That's in the last game and a half they've conceded 7 goals. It's a joke.
And just when Rangers have got on the ball, and Kent's been on the ball a couple of times, and Stephen said in commentary, he keeps chopping back. That's the easy side. It's easy to do that. I can't remember one time where Rangers have tried to turn the back 4 round by knocking a ball in behind. I think I saw Lundstrom knock a ball in for Kent. Kent offered himself to run in behind the fullback and stopped. And the ball was played behind to try and get his team up the park and take a bit of pressure away from him. Need to start doing all that sort of stuff. That's the hard stuff. The easy stuff is giving the ball to Kent, and what he's been doing. He's been chopping back all the time instead of trying to commit his man, take his play on. That's the hard work. That's the hard stuff that you have to do. But he's playing up against. Don't forget, this boy he's playing against is a 19-year-old boy, and he should be getting into it.
He should be dominating him.
Yeah, should be getting into this 19-year-old.
All these Kent chops. More chops than a lumberjack.
Yes. I tell you what,
he does it against everybody. It's almost like he doesn't believe in his own ability. He doesn't believe in his pace. He looks a shell of a player. But I'm talking about him. You could apply that to any one of the Rangers team. Defensively, they're so vulnerable. It is so easy for Ajax. We talked previously about Rangers' resilience in Europe, and they showed it throughout last season, and they showed it against PSV. That's gone out the window tonight. I mean, they're lucky it's only 3-0. This is a dreadful performance.
Yeah, I mean, Tom, Stephen talked about the physicality of Ajax, and there was a great example of that actually for the third goal. Tavernier really poor, just couldn't get near. It was a great finish, but Tavernier just nowhere near his man, easily brushed aside, and it was 3. And this could actually be any number tonight.
Yeah, I mean, as I said in commentary, it was far too easy. He lets him turn, but after he turned, he didn't really manage to affect him before he got his shot away. He seemed to almost kind of give up the ghost a wee bit in terms of trying to chase him back. And don't get me wrong, I don't think he would have been expecting, I don't think anybody was expecting the finish that followed. But that's the quality you're playing against. Tavernier poor. I echo what Mark said about Čolak. He has to get involved in the game more. However, the service up from whenever Rangers do manage to get a touch of the ball at the back, the balls up are of no quality, and you can angle as a striker and in games like this, when you're getting very few touches and hope that somebody plays it up to you. You want it up to your chest, you want it into your feet. He's not going to get that because it's panic for Rangers when they win the ball back. So it's a difficult task for Čolak, albeit he has to do slightly more. Yeah, I mean, the quality of ball up from Rangers is so good. It's like they don't have I use the word bravery, to go and try and play out when they win the ball back. So they're just basically launching it. But by doing that, you're just inviting Ajax back onto you. And don't get me wrong, Ajax have been absolutely brilliant. Their movement off the ball has been sensational. The way that they rotate, the full-backs are basically playing as wingers. The wingers are coming in. Rangers don't know how to deal with it. They're getting overloaded in the middle of the park. They keep picking up wee pockets of space. The Rangers are miles off it. It's been a brilliant spectacle from an Ajax point of view. But for Rangers, I mean, it's been completely abject. It's an awful performance so far. And you're right in what you say, because it could easily have been 5 at half-time. Is it damage limitation now from Rangers? Do they try to kind of... The problem I think they've got with the damage limitation is they're already playing a 4-5-1. You know, Ajax are going to cut them open regardless of how they go and try and approach this game in the second half. So you'd expect more goals from Ajax anyway. Can they affect the game in Ajax's half is something that I would like to see, but it's easier said than done.
Yeah, I'm just saying there, Stephen. See, you're saying there's not a ball up to Čolak, but Čolak has to manipulate the defender, take the defender where he wants, instead of watching the ball and watching the game.
Yeah.
You know, he has to have his mind set on the guy he's playing with or up against, or the two he's playing up against, and he needs to take them into areas of the park while he hasn't got the ball, where it will favour him and give an option to the players.
I agree.
And I mean, you're getting a better vision of it than me. You're getting seeing the whole thing, but I can't see it happening. I can't see it on the TV. You know, when we're nipping that ball on the edge of our own runes, or we're cutting the first look is up, and he's obviously not in a position, as you just said there, to offer himself. That's where you have to. That's where, as a striker, and you're not involved in the game, you have to work harder. You have to manipulate the guys you're playing against into areas they don't want to go, which is favourable for you when you get back on the ball. That's as you play as a one central striker in a 3. That's what you have to do to support the team.
I think it's more basic than that, and we could talk about...
that is basic.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that's tactical. What I'm talking about here is there's an attitude problem here. There's an attitude problem, and they're not working hard enough. I'm talking really basic stuff here now. Yeah. The fundamentals. Yeah. The fundamentals. They're so passive. There's no aggression there. The work rate is low. It's almost like they were so demoralised on Saturday that they've taken that weak set with them to Amsterdam, and it's just visible in them that there's no fight. I know they're playing against a very, very good side, absolutely, but my God, they're making Ajax look like Real Madrid here, and they're lucky it's only 3. You know, it's a really, really dreadful performance, and it does. Okay, but this game is long gone, right? And now I'm thinking, I'm watching that. When it goes to 3, I'm thinking Pittodrie on Saturday.
So what does he do? Does he show up? Can he show up against this side?
Well, it depends on how hungry Ajax are. Is there a killer instinct in this team? Do they want to make it 4 and 5? If they really, really want to do it,
do they want to put a marker down?
Yeah, I think if they really want. Now, sometimes you'll see teams, it's 3-0, the game is over, they'll take the foot off the gas, you know, and Ajax might well do that, and it finishes 3-0. But you know, this is 3-0 going on 5. Total embarrassment from Rangers again. And I tell you, know, going on the back of Saturday, on the back of tonight, they go to Pittodrie on Saturday. If they don't get a result there, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst is going to have a very, very difficult time, because I can only imagine what the Rangers fans are saying right now on the back of what they saw on Saturday. That kind of insipid performance is playing out again. There's an awful lot of questions, a huge amount of questions in this Rangers setup right now, on and off the pitch.
Yeah, at home to Napoli after the Aberdeen game, and then a league game at home to Dundee United on the 17th. Tom, what do you think he'll do? What can he do, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst? We've got the team sheets, we can look at the bench. Is there anything he can do here? He's not going to change to man-for-man marking, is he? We spoke about this a few weeks ago with Neil McCann, and you spoke, just like Mark did, as a striker, you're loving going up against zonal marking.
Yeah, I mean, whether he changes it halfway through a game, I don't know, but I mean, you would have thought after the PSV game when they lost 2 very similar goals, it would have been addressed. It hasn't been, and you know, the amount of video analysis that opposition sides do now, then you can be assured that Ajax have looked at that and gone, right, just try and land the ball in between their zones and don't attack it. Looking at the bench, this goes back to the recruitment of Rangers and have they recruited well enough during the summer. You look at the side that was picked this evening, it's probably just about as good a side I think that Rangers, without Tom Lawrence, are going to be able to put on the pitch just now. I mean, do you bring Ryan Jack in for a bit of steel in the midfield? Do you bring Stephen Davis into the midfield for his experience to try and have a wee bit more composure on the ball when they win the ball back? You mentioned Morelos a lot before the game. Cholak's been pretty anonymous in that first half. He would certainly, you feel, offer himself up in better areas. But I don't know if there will be a change at half time. I think they'll wait and try and see. I don't know whether they'll try and do something tactically. I mean, you look at the bench and you say, well, you're going to bring on Sakala. Not good enough for me. Matondo, from what I've seen, no. Yilmaz, you know, it's going to come on for Barisic, I don't think. So you kind of sit and go, right, is this squad right now good enough to compete at this level? And that, I think, is what infuriates some of the Rangers support. And it looks like we are going to get a couple of changes. I'll let Alistair do those for you. It looks like it's actually going to be a triple change for Rangers with King, Jack and Matondo coming on. I don't know who's going off, but I'll let Alistair do that for you when we get round to it. You want to do it now, Al? Do you know?
I don't know who's coming off yet, but we can have a look at the players who haven't come back out.
Thielman, I think, is not out.
Yeah, that looks accurate. So Jack, Ryan Jack, Leon King and Rabi Matondo come back on. The number of Malik Thielman is flashed up as the fourth official just checks the boots of Leon King. Certainly both James Sands and Connor Golson are out there, so Tavernier hasn't come back out for the second half,
isn't it?
There was a suggestion before the Celtic game that Van Bronckhorst was asked whether there was any truth to reports that he was injured, and clearly he played in that game, but he hasn't come back out for the second half here.
I think they're going to go to a 3 with Lundstrom.
Scott Wright's the other player who's gone off.
With Lundstrom going back into the 3, and I think King's going to play as a right wing back with Barisic left wing back. It looks to me like that's how they're going to shape up. Anyway.
Yeah, so Mark, you said he could be looking at 3 changes. We spoke a lot about Scott Wright starting this game. You were surprised, I think Stephen Davis wasn't in.
Yep.
I mean, we look at the bench, Ridvan Yilmaz, why is he not on this side? We've criticised a lot Barisic is defending. Thomas saying there for him, Matondo's not done it so far. Fashion Sakala, he doesn't look a long-term Rangers prospect to me.
That's fair. Anybody could have taken anybody off.
Yeah,
it could have taken anybody off. Stephen Davis, for me, I think is still a valuable asset to this, especially at this level. I think I'd put Stephen Davis on. I would have taken Kamara off, put Stephen Wright in the middle, which allows the Lundstrom to drop into a back 3 then and have a comfortable. Stephen is very, very good at getting the ball through the lines very quickly, and also, blocking and anticipating.
Well, let's see if these changes can stem the tide. Let's get back to Stephen Thompson and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks, Kenny. Back underway in the Johan Cruyff Arena. Rangers looking to try and make some impact in this game with a triple change at half-time. As Stephen was saying, it does look like it's a back 5 now, effectively, with Lundstrom dropping back in there. Leon King playing right wing-back, more or less. It's Cholak picking up possession only momentarily, as he's pretty comfortably dealt with there by Jurriën Timber, just a 21-year-old centre-back who's come through the youth academy here, and he looks yet another accomplished young prospect for them. And he hasn't given Cholak, between him and Bassey, haven't given him a look in so far as this second half begins. And Rangers look to, at the very least, restore some pride and not let the scoreline get any more damaging, any more embarrassing. But the stark reality, Stephen, is that when you step up to this level of football, there are times you're going to be on the receiving end of a fair old beating.
Yeah, I think it's how you're beaten. And Rangers in that first half were powder puff. You look at Celtic, they lost 3-0 last night, but for 50 minutes, you know, gave as good as they got, looked a good side, certainly threatened and took risks on the ball. In that opening 45 minutes for Rangers, it was passive. It looked like a terrified performance.
Yeah, they look shorn of confidence, don't they? As Ajax builds from the back. No changes for them at the break, but this is not how the Rangers fans wanted the fairy tale return to the Champions League to begin, that's for sure. They have been outclassed in the first period and have to offer more in the second. Here's Alvarez, the man who opened the scoring after 17 minutes, firing it out to the left-hand side for Bergwijn, who just about keeps it in play and knocks it back to Blint just outside the penalty area. Matondo makes the challenge, does well, gets it to Jack, and then Lundstrom feeds it forward to Matondo. Again, we watched Matondo at Queen of the South, or the game against Queen of the South, Stephen, and even against that opposition he wasn't very impressive, so he's got to really lift his game tonight as he tries to move forward. He's just shrugged off the ball, but he was fouled by Blint. There will be a Rangers free kick, but we do need to see more from him this evening, don't you think?
Yeah, I do. By all accounts, I didn't see the games, the pre-season games. He was impressive, but from what I've seen of him so far in the league, certainly the Hibs game, he's flatter to deceive, quick, direct at times, but for me his final ball and his final decision making need to improve dramatically.
So Rangers have a free kick about 20 yards inside the Ajax half right of centre. Barisic is going across to take this one, left-footed, as Goldson and Lundstrom and Sands have gone forward to try to cause some sort of threat inside that Ajax penalty area. It's Sands who attacks the ball. It's a header downwards, but it's wide of goal. 48 minutes played. Ajax 3, Rangers 0.
Yeah, it was a floated ball in from Barisic to the back post area. Sands just getting there ahead of Calvin Bassey, but not able to direct his header. Slightly off balance and goalward. Maybe injury there for the Ajax players.
Kenneth Taylor, yeah, who's eventually back on his feet. Get another one who's come through the system here, 20-year-old midfielder who's been named in Louis van Gaal's preliminary Dutch squad for the upcoming Nations League games against Poland and Belgium, along with several of his teammates. Here's Bassey up to the halfway line, swings it out to the right-hand side for Tadic, Serbian magician, knocks it forward, looking for the run there of Range, who's always been a willing runner, the teenager, and comes off. Barisic last, says the assistant referee. It will be an Ajax throw-in right down at the corner flag as they attack down the right-hand side, and they look to add further to their tally. It's Berghuis closed down quickly by Jack, and out for a throw-in on this near side. Ajax with a 3-goal advantage, 0-0 in the other early kick-off between Eintracht Frankfurt and Sporting. Napoli against Liverpool, the other match in this group to come. It's an 8 o'clock UK time kick-off. Here's Berghuis coming down the right-hand side, slides it forward. Goldson plays it straight to Tadic, but gets away with it, and then Barisic turns it back to his goalkeeper, John McLaughlin, beaten 3 times in the first period. Plays a short ball to Lundstrom. Now back in that right-hand side of a back three. It's it back from Matondo, but again Rangers finding it difficult to play out and have given up possession once more. And it's Kudus looking to add to his fabulous first half strike. And even when they play a loose pass, Stephen, they're working hard enough on that occasion. Bergwijn working hard to keep it in play, and they retain possession.
Yeah, I mean, as we said in the first half, the ball retention's been absolutely exceptional. The movement off the ball, again, superb. Rangers obviously getting the extra man in the centre of defence, playing with a back five now. It's a sloppy one from Sands.
Yeah, late challenge comes in, and it will be a free kick to Ajax out on this near side. The Ajax right. Berghuis, the player who went down. Tadic just as a word with the referee, possibly to encourage him to show the yellow card, but nothing doing in that sense. As the free kick's taken into Alvarez, played square for Blint, about 20 yards inside the Rangers half, out to Bergwijn, up against King. Quite a test for him coming on to this game and having to try and make an impression against the really impressive Bergwijn. It's Taylor back to Bassi under pressure from Čolak. Ajax go back the way, Blint for Timber, who turns it all the way back to his goalkeeper, who's about 10 yards outside of his penalty area. Remco Pasveer hasn't had a save of any note to make this evening, and that will be a huge disappointment to Giovanni van Bronckhorst coming back to his native Holland. He did fail to win all but a couple of the games he managed against Ajax for Feyenoord. Just 2 wins in 10 games against the perennial title contenders here in the Netherlands. Back with McLaughlin, it is, chips it up looking for Kamara, but it's a difficult ball. Kamara does well in the end to keep possession momentarily, but then gives it away to Bassi, and Ajax will start again on the halfway line. It's a short ball from Timber to Bassi. Bassi just steps away from Čolak, plays it forward to Kudus, who's come deep out to the left hand side for Blint. Blint tries to play it down the left, King in the way, out for a throw on the far side. 53 minutes played. It's Ajax 3, Rangers 0, and no signs yet, certainly, that Rangers are going to make any greater impression in the second half than they did in the first game.
No, but Ajax are finding it slightly more difficult in this early stage of the second half to puncture that Rangers defence with the 5 there and the 4 sitting right in front of it. A bit less space for them.
But it does look like damage limitation at this stage and nothing more, really, which is maybe the only realistic option for Giovanni van Bronckhorst and Rangers. Out to the left hand side it goes for Blint. Now it's Berghuis midway inside the Rangers half, steps forward, plays it to Kudus. He can't hold on to it, picked up by Barisic midway inside his own half, plays out to the left hand side. He was caught as he played the pass, but he finds Kent and play continues. Swivels away from Tadic, plays it to Jack, but Barisic is back up. It's Kent once more. Barisic joins in left hand side. It's a 1-2 with Jack, then infield to Kamara. Out on the right hand side is Leon King, and he gets the pass from Goldson as Rangers switch the play. King goes back the way to Lundstrom on the halfway line. Goldson now inside his own half, short ball to Jack and then back to Sands, who was unlucky as the second goal took a big deflection off him and went past his goalkeeper John McLaughlin. Out to the left it comes to Barisic, space for him to come into. Kent is immediately surrounded by 3 players, no free kick, although eventually the referee changes his mind. Actually, he initially allowed him to continue there, but thought better of it.
It was incredible how quickly those 3 Ajax players closed them down. He took a touch and within the blink of an eye, basically he was surrounded by 3 Ajax players. I do think there was a foul in there. It's another opportunity for Rangers to put the ball into the box. Connor Goldson certainly got up. James Sands.
Yeah, Goldson just having a quick chat with Barisic. He'll take the free kick about where he wants this placed. The free kick will be taken more or less midway inside the Ajax half, left of centre, and John Lundstrom standing in an offside position, trying to create the space. Goldson being heavily tracked here by Alvarez, just shoves him away as the referee goes across to have a word with those 2. Here is Barisic then, sends it in back post. Good climb by Sands there, but the free kick has been given Ajax's way. Alvarez not happy with Goldson's intentions there, and he's gone down actually.
I actually felt Alvarez was impeding Goldson. He puts his hands down by his side, but then he actually completely blocks and puts 2 arms round Goldson as he's trying to attempt to head on the ball. I felt as though that should have been a foul to Rangers, not the other way.
Yeah, just blocking him off entirely, wasn't he?
Yeah, for me that's a definite foul.
Referee just making sure Alvarez is okay. And play will resume with an Ajax free kick. 55 minutes played in Amsterdam, and it's Ajax 3, Rangers 0. The referee's just gone up to speak to Connor Goldson now after that collision with Alvarez. Stephen says it did look like the Ajax man was the aggressor, if you like.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't going for the ball at all. He wasn't even looking at the ball.
Play back underway though. Bassey plays it square for Timber, gets it back once more as Kent and Cholak try and close down. Bassey goes long down the left channel looking for Bergwijn. King watches that all the way. Knocked high in there by Golson. Kamara does well to keep it in, but Taylor's there. Quickly, Blind can't keep it in play though. It will be a Rangers throw-in over on the far side. To be taken by young Leon King, who comes in a position that's not entirely alien to him, but certainly not his favoured one of centre-back. Taken to Lundstrom, back to John McLaughlin. Golson then for Lundstrom to the right of the penalty area, back into the 6-yard box to McLaughlin, then plays it square to Sands, still inside the penalty area, out to the left-hand side for Barisic. Ajax trying to hem Rangers in here. Sands will just knock it down the left, straight out of play though. Poor distribution from the American.
Yeah, I mean, Rangers knocking it pretty much along their own 6-yard box from the right-hand side to the left. Barisic turning back, gives it to Sands. He does have options. He's got 3 passes on. He could have played Jack, Kent or Cholak in a slightly longer pass, but kicks it straight out of the field.
Played out short by Pasveer to Alvarez, who's got plenty of room, and he just knocks that diagonally out to Bergwijn on the left-hand side. Back goes King with him, just outside the penalty area. Bergwijn knocks it back to Kudus. Kudus for Berghuis. Berghuis goes back the way to Blind, midway inside the Rangers half. Taylor picks up on the left-hand side, quickly closed down by a combination of King and Matondo, who's yet to get into the game, certainly in an attacking sense. Here's Timber on the halfway line for Ajax. Now Bassey for Blind, square ball. Taylor picks up on the left now for the Dutch champions. Blind once more on the Europa League with Man United, back for a second spell with Ajax. Forward it goes to Bergwijn. Now Berghuis. He tries to sweep it out to the right-hand side. Barisic will be there before Tadic. He's fouled by him. The assistant just tells Barisic to get up as the ball goes back to Sands. His clearance comes off an Ajax body. It's lost by Kent. And Rangers once more finding it difficult to hold on to the ball for any more than a sequence of 2 or 3 passes. Here's Berghuis for Ajax. Back to Bassey it goes. Remember, we'll be live with Hearts at Tynecastle tomorrow night in the Europa Conference League as they take on Istanbul Başakşehir in their opening group match. Here's Bergwijn, steps away beautifully from King up towards the edge of the penalty. King gets back well at him. Referee was in a good position to see that was a clean tackle, and Lundstrom comes away down the right-hand side, knocks it looking for Matondo, but Bassey was on his toes there and nicks it off him. And the Ajax fans like what they're seeing so far of the £20 million buy from Rangers in the summer. Here's Berghuis on the halfway line. It's been a good evening for the home support thus far. They've been in great voice, helped no doubt by the 3 goals going in the first half, and that's how things stand. Are we just a few seconds away from the hour mark? Perhaps Ajax not being quite as urgent in their play as they were in the first half, Stephen.
Yeah, but I think that's got to do with the setup as well. Rangers obviously changing the formation. Basically it's just a sea of blue bodies and 2 banks, a 5 and a 4, and really it's difficult, no matter the quality of the opposition, to try and penetrate that.
Bergwijn back for Blind, out to the left-hand side. It's Berghuis onto the right foot, stands that up towards the back post. There's a lack of communication in there. Sands and Barisic both going for the same ball. Eventually it comes off the head of Sands and behind for a corner, but you have to imagine that Barisic hasn't given him a shout there.
Well, I'd imagine it would have been shouting. It was an avoidable corner to give away. It should have been Barisic that stepped onto it and cleared it. However, it was Sands, and now another corner for Rangers to defend. Yeah, or to try to defend. It's Tadic over it. They've only sent 1 man out for the short corner, which is taken to Taylor. Taylor on the left foot sends it into the penalty area, headed away by Cholak, who's back doing the defending. Rangers have given it up
once more to Tadic. Jack steps in though and wins possession back for Rangers. Just squeezes it down the left for Matondo. Matondo dispossessed though by Berghuis, who nutmegs Jack, and forward come Ajax, and it's Tadic trying to hold off Matondo, who's back in the left back position, trying to keep the ball for Rangers. Can't do so. It's Tadic once more, gets it back from Berghuis. Aimless ball into the middle, and Lundstrom just about gets away with the back pass off his thigh to McLaughlin. In 61 minutes played, it's Ajax 3, Rangers 0.
It's a good defender in the end from John Lundstrom, very composed, just on the knee back to John McLaughlin. Tadic down this right hand side, putting a decent ball into the box, but wasn't any Ajax players breaking their neck to get into the middle of that 6-yard line this time.
Heavy challenge from Jack, goes sliding in, and in Europe you're not going to get away with that challenge. The referee is going to his pocket, and it's the yellow card that's out for Ryan Jack. It was certainly a committed challenge, going for the ball, took plenty of the ball actually, but with the stud showing.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much of the ball he actually does get. Catches Duzan on the top of the foot and just scrapes his ankle a bit. But it's good to see a Rangers player getting involved and showing a bit of grit. You know, something that was missed in the first half. They stood pretty much as passengers and watched Ajax pop the ball about in front of them. At least Ryan Jack's putting a foot in.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing, Stephen, but given that Rangers had some joy with the three at the back already in Europe in last season under Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, should they have started that way, do you think?
It's difficult to say. I mean, certainly they look more compact now, but I mean, how much of that's to do with the fact that Ajax are already 3-0 up and maybe they've taken their foot off the gas a wee bit? You know, it's certainly something that I think moving forward should be considered, because at this moment in time, Ajax are finding it more difficult to be as creative, certainly with Rangers in the formation that they're in.
Ajax have it though, through Bassey, just on the edge of the centre circle inside his own half. Taylor on the halfway line, out to the right hand side for Tadic. Infield he goes to Kudus, who's got a wonderful third goal. He advances towards the edge of the penalty area, just gets a nudge in the back from Jack, but he manages to get the pass out to Tadic on the right hand side. He slips it now for Wrench, back to Kudus, edge of the box. Tadic away from one despairing challenge from Barisic. Now is Berghuis, right hand side, stands up to the back post, away by King as far as Bassey midway inside the Rangers half. Rangers having to work hard to keep Ajax out once more. King again makes the interception on the diagonal ball, this time looking for Bergwijn, and it's out for a throw-in on the far side. 63 played, Ajax 3, Rangers 0. Here's Bassey, back the way it goes to Timber. Ajax's centre backs are advanced up to what, 20 yards or so inside the Rangers half, and they are the furthest back of all the Ajax players, barring the goalkeeper. That is how comfortable they are in this contest.
No, but they realise that Rangers are offering no threat whatsoever when they win the ball back. And Kent and this left-hand side, Matondo on the right, are being forced back into right in front of the wing-backs. So, you know, there is no threat, so they can afford to. They're under no pressure. Step forward and commit more men forward.
Here comes Bergwijn down the left-hand side, up against King, steps inside on just at the angle of the box on the Ajax left. Matondo back there trying to help out his defence as well. Back out with Taylor, still on the angle of the box. Just drifts further back, plays it to Blint. Blint on the left-hand side, back to Bassey. Bassey just steps away from Cholak and plays it square to Timber. Timber with the ball into the feet of Berghuis, 25 yards from goal, squeezes it to Kudus. Wonderful feet from Kudus, away from two players. And then the despairing challenge comes in from Barisic, just to rob him of possession as he was poised to pull the trigger. But it's wonderful skill from the young striker, and he was just denied by the Croatian.
Such a talented player. I mean, the close control there to nick past two of the Rangers defenders was exceptional. Probably just overdid it a bit in the end. I thought he could have got his shot away after he got past two players and had a sight of goal with John McLaughlin, went to try and get past a third, and Rangers just getting a toe in at the last second. But fabulous skill and play from the youngster.
Yeah, really good footwork. Barisic though with a saving challenge to prevent Ajax scoring what looked like an inevitable fourth on the night. But they are once more dominating possession. It's Taylor down the left-hand side for Bergwijn. skips away from King, slips it through for Kudus, tries to get the challenge, the shot in, comes off Goldson, who made a good tackle inside his own penalty area, and behind for another corner on the left hand side.
It's just so dangerous, Bergwijn, when he dips the shoulder and comes inside. Corner's been taken quickly.
It has indeed, and it's been swept into the penalty area. Alvarez gets his head to it, but this time he can't keep it down. It's over McLaughlin's bar, and after 66 minutes in Amsterdam, it's Ajax 3, Rangers 0.
I think he just saw a wee bit late there, Alvarez. I think it was initially Timber who was very close to getting on the delivery, and then it just kind of flashes up, and Berghuis hopes.
Kamara gets a rather dangerous pass from McLaughlin there, but he keeps his cool and turns away on the edge of his own penalty area under some pressure, and plays it to Goldson, who's got it out to Matondo on the right hand side. Rangers looking to try and somehow get something out of this game. Kent's in there, and that's just wide from Ryan Kent. Did well to get on the end of the cross, and a rare moment of concern for Ajax at the back, but Kent couldn't force the shot on target, and it remains Ajax 3, Rangers 0.
And fair play to Matondo, because that is a very, very good ball into a really dangerous area. Flashed past Cholak, and then Kent was there at the back post. He couldn't really get enough on it to cause any problems for Pasveer.
Pasveer was looking a little bit troubled though for more or less the first time in the evening, but he saw it wide in the end. Wrench comes forward and finds Berghuis on the right hand side. Berghuis once more, he's in. McLaughlin makes a really good save with his right boot, and Rangers work it clear from Lundstrom to Matondo. I think the offside flag has gone up actually latterly, it has, belatedly, but certainly McLaughlin wasn't to know that, and I think he might have just overstretched his groin and sticking the boot out to save that one.
It was brilliant play, it really is, from Berghuis getting the 1-2 back. He really should have scored, but it is a good save in the end for McLaughlin, who, you're right, didn't know he had just strayed. It was very minimal, just probably half a foot or so offside. Got a good stop from John McLaughlin. He's back up on his feet to take this by kick.
1-0 Sporting in Frankfurt against Eintracht. Edwards the scorer there. 3-0 to Ajax against Rangers on the return to the Champions League. This is not how they saw it going. It was always going to be a tricky trip, and so it has proved. Ajax, particularly in the first period, just way too good for Giovanni van Bronckhorst's side. Here's Bassi for Blint, out to the left hand side to Taylor on the halfway line, just helps it forward for Bergwijn. Lundstrom's across there, trying to stay with him. Bergwijn down the left he goes. Lundstrom still with him, looking to take him on. A good skill from the Dutchman on the edge of the penalty area. Back to Taylor, gets him back to Bergwijn once more. Shooting opportunity straight at McLaughlin. Fortunately for him, it's well struck from Bergwijn. Just didn't have the accuracy required to really test McLaughlin.
He's been so impressive, this Bergwijn. He really has. That time cutting past the challenge of John Lundstrom then. I think it was Leon King who he managed to escape, and Kamara gets the shot away. It's hit with power, but straight at John McLaughlin.
Signed from Spurs in the summer for £28 million, and that's the buying power that Ajax have because of all these big sales that they make. They're able to spend big dough as well, and it's certainly evident tonight, some of the performances from some of their players. Bergwijn certainly being one of them. Throw in Rangers inside the Ajax half, and the Rangers left. Barisic goes back the way to Sands, quickly closed down by Kudus, takes a chance, but he is fouled by the Ghanaian, and it will be a free kick to Rangers on this left hand side, about 10 yards inside their own half. The crowd still making a magnificent noise, you have to say. The atmosphere has been wonderful from the warm-up.
Such an incredible stadium, it really is. Privileged to commentate in the stadium, it's absolutely magnificent. It's a good ball. Yeah,
I'm not sure Kent's onside right now. The flag's still down just now as he picks up on the left hand side, approaching the penalty area, up against Wrench. Checks back once more, tries to play it to Barisic. Barisic does get there, right for his shot. It's a brilliant goal from Borna Barisic. Now the Ajax players are protesting that there was an offside, and I'm sure that will be checked, but take nothing away from the strike from Borna Barisic on the right foot, curled an absolute beauty beyond Pasveer. And for the moment at least, it's Ajax 3, Rangers 1.
It looked a very, very, very tight call indeed, but the pass out to Kent's exceptional. He goes down the left-hand side, eventually loses it, he's tackled, but the ball falls back to Borna Barisic. On his weaker foot, he takes a touch onto his right and then curls it magnificently into the top corner. Is there a way back?
Well, let's see if this goal stands. First and foremost, it is being checked.
I mean, it's really tight.
Well, we know that VAR is in operation, of course, and the new semi-automated offside technology as well, so there's no excuse really. My instinct, I have to say, is, as I mentioned, it looked like Kent to me was offside when it was played forward. It'll be really cool on Borna Barisic if this is chopped off, because I think it's fair to say I don't think he'll have scored a better goal than that on his right foot before. Still we await the decision here. Goal check announced on the big screen so that the fans know what's going on. And it's an offside decision against Ryan Kent. The home fans cheer, and Borna Barisic with a rueful smile down there. Can't believe it. Well, I probably can, really. That's the way things have gone for Rangers tonight.
I mean, well, it has to be an extraordinarily tight call, but clearly now with VAR, they've come to the decision, and a shame for Rangers because it was a rare moment of quality in an evening that's been desperately lacking quality for them.
Sporting Lisbon have gone 2 up. Trincao, the scorer of the second, as Ajax come forward looking to add insult to injury to Rangers, denied what might just have been a consolation goal with just under 20 minutes remaining, but it would have been something to show for their second half efforts, and it has been an improvement, Stephen.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be hard not to improve in the first half. I think the change of shape has definitely helped them. Ajax have still had some moments in most of the possession, however they've not looked quite as dangerous as they did in the first half, and Rangers had a back four when they were ran absolutely ragged by this Ajax side.
Here's Timber at the back for Ajax. Out to Tadic, midway inside the Rangers half on the right hand side. Berghuis now steps in field and plays it back to Bassey in the centre circle. Berghuis picks up once more, closed down by Kent. Here's Jack though intercepting, gets it to Kent. Kent battling away but can't keep possession. And Ajax, for all their good skill and excellent technical ability, Stephen, they're also a very hard working side.
Yeah, when they lose the ball, the aim is to get it back as quickly as possible, and we saw on that occasion Kent this evening's been on the end of that about 4 or 5 occasions when he's taken his touch, and normally probably would feel he's got a wee bit of space to move in. He's been surrounded and completely and utterly exhausted within a second of getting the ball, and it's again it's a tempo that Rangers aren't really coping with in possession when they do have the ball.
There's another example of, I think, what Mark Gately was talking about at half-time. Cholak just drifted offside and meant that Matondo couldn't play the forward ball. There's no other options for him, and the ball goes out of play. I'm
surprised he's actually still on the pitch, to be honest with you. I thought Morelos would have been on by this stage.
74 minutes played. Rangers still trailing by 3-0, denied a goal a moment or two ago by an offside given against Ryan Kent ahead of a Borna Barisic wonder strike on the right foot. Out of play off John McLaughlin, and it will be an Ajax throw in the far side. We've got just over a quarter of an hour to play.
He's changed his mind, the referee. I did think it had come off of the Ajax player, and it's actually Kudus that said to the referee that he did in fact play the ball when McLaughlin went to clear it, so the ref gave him a wee high five. Very sporty. It's easy to be sporting when you're 3-0 up, Alistair, of course.
Yeah. Indeed. Lundstrom to take the throw, and then over on the far side, the Rangers right, midway inside their own half. Forward it goes up to Matondo. Matondo heads it on, but Alvarez is there. It's very, very tidy in there, isn't he, the Mexican? Just anything loose, he is onto it in a flash, and just limits the opposition in terms of being able to build play. And Ajax definitely feels like they have taken things a little bit more easily in this second period. They've got Heerenveen in the Eredivisie at the weekend on Saturday, and then it's away to Anfield next Tuesday for the Dutch. I think that'll be a stiffer test for them, to say the least.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll be interested to see how actually they fare against that. You know, obviously an extremely strong Liverpool side.
Throw in Rangers over on the right. King takes it, looking for Matondo, but again Alvarez was there. Up goes Timber to win the aerial battle. Sands returns it, Cholak gets his head to it. Blint though steps in, then Lundstrom heads it forward. Cholak again looking to win it, but it doesn't fall for a Rangers player. Kent will chase it nonetheless, but it goes all the way back to Remco Pasveer, who thought he was beaten a few minutes ago. Certainly nothing he could do about the Barisic effort, but technology came to his aid and the offside was given. Here's Alvarez just outside the centre circle. Ajax not playing at the same tempo, understandably, in this second half. Their hard work was very much done in the first period, and Rangers have been able to limit them to only a couple of opportunities in the second half, but they might have added to the lead. Stephen Davis is going to come on for the final 13 minutes or so. He played in that game I mentioned at the start of the game, Rangers' last Champions League tie in Bursa all those years ago, and on he comes now to replace Glenn Kamara for the closing stages.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously not an attacking substitution from Rangers. I think Giovanni Van Bronckhorst pretty much accepting his fate with that substitution there.
Davis comes on to lend his composure and experience, having played the full 90 in that sore, very sore defeat. This is actually his 350th appearance for the club. I'm sure he'll look back more fondly on others than this cameo away on a fairly miserable night for Rangers in Europe. Here's Bassey, 12 minutes, just over that left to play, left for Rangers to endure. Bassey picks up once more, knocks it to Blint. Back infield for Bassey. Really, the urgency has gone out of Ajax's play, certainly in the last 10-15 minutes or so, as Bassey knocks it once more to Timber. Then they've got it moving quickly, just when the opportunity presents itself. Wrench comes forward, plays it infield for Alvarez. Alvarez looks to switch play, but King watches that one all the way before Bergwijn can bring the ball under control, and then plays a 1-2 with Matondo, who likewise looks to link with Jack, but Jack's ball was just behind Matondo. It will be a Rangers throw-in though on the right hand side, just inside their own half, and Ajax are going to make 3 changes right now. David Klaassen is one of those players who'll come on. Lucas Ocampos, who's a recent loan signing from Sevilla, and the other player who's going to make his entrance is Yuri Bass, a young left back. So just freshening things up. Alfred Schroeder, who'll be more than happy with the way this opening Champions League fixture of the season has gone for his side. Here's Sands for Rangers before the substitutions can be made. Barisic on the halfway line, back to Sands once more. Closed down, Jack's given it away. Bergwijn, he's away from McLaughlin. It's 4 for Ajax. It's just too easy. Rangers have presented Ajax with an absolute gift. Ryan Jack with a wayward pass, and Bergwijn skips round John McLaughlin at the edge of his box before rolling it into the empty net. Ajax have been different class tonight. It's Ajax 4, Rangers 0.
Well, you've got to say it's self-inflicted again from a Rangers point of view. Ryan Jack, so normally assured on the ball, with a really, really slack pass, and if it was an Ajax player that had played the pass, you're saying what a phenomenal through ball it was from Steven Bergwijn. He rounds John McLaughlin. It's as simple of a finish, simplest of finishes for him, just tapping it into the net, and he's been down with cramp ever since he scored that goal. The Ajax players now trying to get his calf stretched. But yeah, I mean, again, Rangers have been better in this second half, but the quality is there from Ajax, and you simply cannot present teams of this quality with opportunities like that, with gifts like that. And when you assess the game, yes, Ajax probably should have scored more than the 4 they have already in terms of the chances they've created. Some of these goals have been preventable from Rangers, and that's lamentable.
Yeah, really poor from Rangers. And much as we've been saying that they've been improved and limited Ajax in the second period, they have presented them with an easy goal. It might be Steven Bergwijn's last act of the game by the looks of it. He's off the pitch right now, and he's going to be replaced. Daley Blind is going to be replaced by Bass, first of all. It's a like-for-like replacement at left back. The teenager Bass coming on to replace the veteran, whose work is very much done. That's Bergwijn's 8th goal in 7 games since returning to Ajax. He has been superb tonight, deserves his goal, albeit didn't have to work very hard for it. Next change is Bergwijn being replaced by Ocampos, Argentine international who came in on deadline day after the departure of Anthony. On comes Ocampos for his second appearance, and the final change is going to be Klaassen on for Berghuis, another like-for-like swap in the middle of the park. And Rangers can only hope that they can see this game out and it doesn't get any worse than 4.
Yeah, I mean, you're really scraping the barrel in terms of looking for positives.
That's the position Rangers find themselves in, isn't it? 2 consecutive 4-0 defeats is bad enough. I'm sure Tom English is Googling right now the last time Rangers lost 2 games in a row by 4 goals to 0. Certainly not one that I had looked up beforehand, but Ajax have been simply too good for Giovanni van Bronckhorst's side, and like I said, at 2-0 the scoreline doesn't flatter them. 7.5 minutes to play. A real chastening night, bruising for Rangers here in Amsterdam, and with the trips to Naples and Liverpool to come, Rangers will have to learn and learn fast. Next game in the Champions League for them, though, is at home to Napoli on Tuesday, after a visit to Pittodrie, which could be tricky in itself. As Davis picks up for Rangers, back to Sands, out to the left-hand side for Barisic. Sands once more, almost in his own goal line, just whacks it forward rather aimlessly. Taylor gets lucky with the attempted pass. It's Bassi. Bassi fancies a goal himself. He's inside the penalty area. Did that come off the hand of John Lundstrom? That was the claim from Bassi. Play continues with Ajax still in possession. First touch for Ocampos. They were initially going to buy Ocampos, but the board put the kibosh on it. Didn't want him to stall the potential careers of some of their younger talents, so they brought him in on loan for the season instead. Still a decent addition, you would imagine. Here's Klaassen in the middle of the park. 6 minutes left on the clock, plus injury time. Rangers trailing by 4 goals to 0. 4-1 the last time they were here, and they haven't even got a goal to show for it this time. Borna Barisic coming closest to notching. Chopped off for offside. Here's Bassi on the halfway line. Ajax just toying with Rangers right now, keeping possession for fun, and they just can't get near them at all. Out to the left-hand side it goes for 19-year-old Yuri Bash. Is the second appearance of the season. Still they have it. It's Alvarez in the middle of the park. Plays the 1-2 with Ocampos, and then out to the right-hand side for Divine Wrench. Runs at Barisic, infield he comes. Davis tries to make the challenge. He pulls back the jersey of Wrench, who gets the pass away to Ocampos on the right-hand side. Towards the penalty area he comes. He's inside the penalty. He's up against Barisic. He has the check back though. No way through. Still he has it though. Back with Kudus, who scored the goal of the game so far. The Ajax third. Bassi now. Then Bass will go back the way. And Alvarez himself looks like he's taking a bit of cramp. Just seemed to pull up momentarily as he Played the ball back to his goalkeeper.
How long have Ajax in possession of this ball for? Seems like 2-3 minutes.
It's been like a walk in the park at times for Ajax. Men against boys, any of these old cliches, they all hold firm this evening. Rangers just simply haven't been able to lay a glove on their opponents this evening. Kudus gives chase. I think he thought he was offside. Play continues though. It's up to the edge of the penalty area. So Campos, he gets the shot away straight into the arms of John McLaughlin, who looks at the assistant referee for a flag. Doesn't come, but it will matter not anymore. And McLaughlin in possession of the ball. 86 minutes played. A humbling night for Rangers as they trail by 4-0 once again, and McLaughlin has to take evasive action to make sure Lundstrom's pass gets all the way through to Barisic. Could have been even worse for Rangers had Ajax been even slightly more clinical. But they've been more than good enough as Matondo tries to get away from Bass, can't do so. Ajax have it back as down goes Klaassen, back on his feet once more. Alvarez picks up, plays it to Ocampos, still inside Ajax half. He's it back once more from Timber. I'm sure these Rangers fans over on the far side, but a lot of them have made their way into the Amsterdam night already, haven't they?
Yeah, you can't really blame them.
Cannot. I'm sure the rest of them who are still here just want the final whistle to go before the pain gets any worse. Here's Bass on the left hand side, it's Taylor. Back to Bass once more, now Bassi. You'll have more testing nights in Ajax colours, I'm sure, at least when they travel to Anfield next week. Here's Ocampos, knocks it forward. Klaassen is offside, so much so that the assistant does flag this time. No waiting for technology as Ajax make a late double change with the introduction of Jorge Sanchez. He will replace Edson Alvarez, and the other player who is about to come on will be Brian Brobby, and I would imagine that will mean an end to the game for Mohamed Kudus as the young striker comes on. On comes Sanchez first of all.
Well, both the players leaving the pitch have had brilliant games, they really have. Young Kudus up front, brilliant match, and for me Alvarez in the middle of the park has really just controlled everything for Ajax. It's been so impressive.
Brobby, who's about to come on, to another pretty big money buy in the summer. They bought him back actually from Leipzig. He went there last summer on a free, and they had to pay 14.5 million to get him back. Came back on loan last season actually in January. Things didn't work out for him in Germany. He scored a lot of goals here, and only will come for Kudus, who gets a standing ovation for his goal and his all-round performance. Stephen, as you mentioned, was excellent, as was Alvarez. So the changes have been made, and play back underway out on the right hand side. Rangers have it. It's King back for Lundstrom, plays it back the way to Sands. The Rangers simply have to get back to winning ways at the weekend, try and erase the memories of these two dreadful defeats. The scoreline's embarrassing for a club like Rangers. The performance is simply not good enough. I'm sure Giovanni Van Bronckhorst will again acknowledge that, but he has to try and put things right. Here's Ryan Jack, who gave away possession for the fourth goal. Rangers trying to circulate possession just outside Ajax penalty area, but they can't keep it, and Ajax pick up once more. We're inside the final minute, and it's still Ajax 4, Rangers 0, as Timber picks up at the edge of his own penalty area, knocks it forwards, and here's Wrench. Infield it goes. Here's Wrench. Infield it goes to Sanchez, who's just occupying that spot that Alvarez has vacated. Another Mexican international, usually plays it right back, but can play in that holding role as well. And Ajax is playing keep ball as we wait for news as to how much added on time will be played. 3 minutes it will be. 3 minutes left for Rangers to endure at the end of a really poor night in Amsterdam. 4-0 they trail. Here's Taylor for Ajax, who might be looking for one last bit of gloss on the scoreline here. Forward they come, down the left-hand side. Out to the left it goes once more. It's picked up by Taylor. Bass is in support. And the Johan Cruyff Arena rises almost to a man as they salute their players who have been magnificent tonight, notching up a comprehensive victory against a poor Rangers side, you have to say. Here's a Čolak for Rangers, gets it to Kent. Is there a consolation to come for Rangers in injury times? Barisic on the left-hand side. Rangers trying to get bodies forward. Barisic's cross comes off Klasa. They'll go out for a throw-in down near the corner flag. We're into injury time, and it's still Ajax 4, Rangers 0. Throw-in quickly taken by Barisic. Now Sands. Square for Lundstrom, about 25 yards inside the Ajax half. Out to the right-hand side for King. King knocks the ball into the area, looking for Čolak, but it's headed away by Timber, who's had an excellent game as well. But you'd be hard-pushed to name an Ajax player who hasn't had an excellent game in truth, as Ocampos beautifully intercepts a pass, but he's given it away to Kent. Kent goes for goal, it comes off Timber and off the post. Nothing is going for Rangers this evening. Behind for a corner, and it does remain Ajax 4, Rangers 0.
That was a really rare slack moment there from Ajax. Campos took the ball down brilliantly out the sky, but then turned back towards his own goalkeeper. Kent was onto him in a flash. His shot deflected off the post.
I don't think Kent's shot was going on target, was it? It
looked like he was going wide, yeah.
Probably wide. Barisic sends it in. Comes off an Ajax head for another corner. Rangers enjoy a late flurry of activity in Ajax territory, but it is too little, too late. Does not go anywhere near describing the scenario for Rangers. Barisic once more from the left-hand side. Can't beat the first man, who heads away, and it's Klasa who thumps it up towards the halfway line. Davis is there, heads it back to Kent. Kent moves infield. He'll go for goal here. Ryan Kent's a poor effort. Goalkeeper should have caught it, but he gathers it in the second attempt. And with just seconds of the match remaining now, it's Ajax 4, Rangers 0.
Yeah, Kent, probably 30 yards out. I mean, it was on target and it dipped right in front of Bashvir at his chest. They gathered it at the second attempt. But the game for the last 10 minutes has really been played at a walking pace, to be honest with you. It's like a training session.
And it's all over in the Johan Cruyff Arena. And it has been a harsh reminder to Rangers of what they've been missing over the last 12 years. A return to the top stage of European football, but a return to a level of football that they simply couldn't cope with this evening. And it's a second straight consecutive 4-0 defeat. Celtic on Saturday and Ajax this evening. The damage was really done in a first half when Ajax simply blew Rangers away. The opening goal coming from Edson Alvarez, a header inside the penalty area where he was unchallenged to connect with Dusan Tadic's corner. The lead was doubled just after the half-hour mark. Berghouse's shot was deflected off Sands. Unfortunate for Rangers on that occasion, as McLaughlin was wrong-footed and the second goal went in. And then Kudus, a couple of minutes later, fired in an absolute beauty, unstoppable shot from the left-hand side of the penalty area, in off the upright on the far post. And McLaughlin could do nothing about that. Into the second period, a triple change from Rangers at half-time, a change of system, and they were able to cope a bit better with Ajax, but they presented the Dutch with a simple fourth goal 10 minutes from time. Ryan Jack, the substitute, giving the ball straight to Steven Bergwijn when he was under pressure, and Bergwijn rounded McLaughlin at the edge of his penalty area before slotting it into the empty net. They finished 4, and in real truth it could have been more for Ajax tonight. They were so much better than Rangers in absolutely every area. Interesting to see what Giovanni van Bronckhorst and the players make of this one. But it is finished in Amsterdam, the Johan Cruyff Arena. Ajax 4, Rangers 0.
Following Scotland's teams in